What is going on, everybody? My name is Ciara Lawler. Welcome back to another week of Movie Mondays. This is the Heroes for Hire podcast. We are back again talking all the week's movie news, entertainment news, and just generally having a bit of a chit-chat about everything to do with film. As always, I am joined by my partner in crime, Mr. Shaun Mead. Shaun, how's it going?
I can't believe Thanos came back and beat Thor to death with his own hammer, Connor. Oh no, spoilers.
This is the spoiler review though.
The bit is ruined.
Wait for that gag for next week. Someone write that down.
When we talk about Thor in passing, you better believe that's going to be a good joke.
It's going to be a good one.
And all you listeners will know. You'll know that I workshopped it here.
So, everyone has seen the headline or the title of this episode. Yeah. This is going to be a bit of a different week. Feels like we've been doing a lot of reviews recently.
Busy summer for content, I will say.
Yeah, and so
I don't care for it, Connor.
I hate things. Okay, so this week we aren't going to be talking about movie news because, of course, Thor: Love and Thunder has come out.
Of Thor's, yes.
How many times are you going to do that in the review?
Only Thor more times.
That is it for this week's Movie Mondays. So, if this is your first review, what we normally do here is spoilers from the get-go, because we're dumb, and we will spoil it anyway. And also, we used to go through the whole movie scene by scene. Now we just do a general view. And, we don't kind of give a rating. We just kind of tell you how we feel about it.
We do like what every review does ever. And is that we give an overview of the film. Yeah. And not a scene by scene analysis of the film. I don't know when we stopped that, but
I think I got lazy.
I think it's just easier to listen to rather than us just being like, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then that happens, So I like how we do it now. That's all I'm going to say.
So if this is your first episode, if you could give us a like and subscribe, whatever podcast platform that you're listening to this on, it would really help us out. But Shaun, there's no more time to discuss other things.
There's no time to die, Connor. James Bond's No Time to Die. This is actually...
It finally came out.
It finally happened. It's beside the point. It's Thor time.
It's Thor: Love and Thunder time. Now, Shaun, I have been dying to ask you this question because we've seen it over the weekend and we have a golden rule that we don't really talk about, but we just never ask each other how we feel about things.
No, we used to be regular friends until we started this podcast.
Now I just want content from you. I don't give a fuck about
it for all it's worth, but
I'm not going to ask you about your day until there is a hot mic. So Shaun, if you would kindly just answer me this one question.
Yeah.
What did you think of Thor: Love and Thunder?
I had fun with it.
Right. I thought you might say that.
Yeah. It's you know what? It's less itself than I thought it would be. That's
a really good way of putting it, but go on.
I thought this was going to be Ragnarok dialed up to 11, which I thought might wear a bit thin. But I think this movie, it is jokey and it's funny and it's primarily a comedy. But there is also really nice elements of heart, faithful comic adaptation, and just good acting across the board that I feel lifts it above. I'd put this above, say, Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness as a movie.
I think I would certainly watch this first before I watch Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
I've actually heard multiple people have messaged into us here, actually on the podcast, through Instagram, Twitter, all the kind folks that tune in. And they were all just asking me, what did you guys think? And obviously I didn't know what you thought, so I had to just kind of say my view. But I was then listening to what they said. So we've had a whole spectrum. We've had people say, this is dog shit, this is terrible. And I really loved it for these amount of reasons.
I've heard the whole spectrum as well of just like every answer that could be given. This film seems to have it. I think you're into it or you're not, and that's totally fine, I think.
And unfortunately, Shaun, I don't think I'm into it.
Interesting. Okay. But differing views.
But I think I'm not going to be it's shit, right? And that's just, unfortunately, it's not that strong. I think there's nuance to what works and what doesn't work in any movie, right? If although more clicks, more views normally get of this is the worst thing that's ever happened ever, that's fine.
Well, this is it. Okay. And it's the Rotten Tomatoes score that's posted
exactly.
over and over. And
it's always more than black and white. So there's obviously some really great things in the movie itself. But to be honest, it was kind of similar to Doctor Strange for me in that I didn't really click with it, but it hurt my feelings more because I loved Ragnarok a lot more than I loved Doctor Strange 1.
I totally get that. And like you're comparing sequels to Thor Ragnarok was essentially a reinvention of Thor as a character.
Yeah, exactly.
So you are comparing sequels of Origins, essentially.
I just think it's... And I was trying to figure out a way to put it into words. Like, watching it even, I was like, oh, that's fun. That's a cool idea. Or that's a cool idea. But to me, it's just a bit scattered. It's trying to do 10 things when it... And they're all good. But yeah. I'm like, you could have done 3 and you could have fucking killed it.
You could have, yeah. I do get that as well, and we'll touch on it a bit more later, I'm sure. But there are things in this movie that I wish were expanded on. That I think would have, like even a 2-hour, 20-minute runtime, because this comes in at just under 2 hours.
It's 150, I think.
Yeah, so I think maybe that little bit of extra play would have been nicer.
Which is ironic, because we're always saying we want shorter movies.
We're always saying make it shorter. Yeah. I do think it's interesting, though, that, and maybe I'm reading too much into it, but after the Batman came out, we have both been not stellar about the Marvel showings.
But I also think that it's coincided with all of Phase 4, to me, doesn't seem like it has a goal. It doesn't have an end point, like a goal in mind, so it's kind of all floating.
I don't know what the final... Like, I knew, like, the final installment of Phase 1 was Avengers. Final installment of Phase 2... Was it Age of Ultron?
I think it was Age
of
Ultron.
It was Winter Soldier.
Oh, Winter Soldier. Okay.
Yeah, I think. And then Phase 3 was... Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, of course. I don't know what Phase 4 is doing, what it's building to. It does feel kind of aimless at the minute.
I think that leads to a lot of not... I think there's always going to be people that come so far the other way to be like, this is now shit.
I don't think it's that.
And I didn't, of course, there's going to be other people that see those comments and go, this is the best thing ever. I think it's completely normal to look at something and say, you've kind of won the Super Bowl, and now it's kind of the middle of the next season and you don't really have anything. Like, we already have the championship and we are all billionaires, so...
that's the thing. It's like we're not quite sure what we haven't... The good Disney executives haven't told us what to be excited for next, basically.
And I think it's led to a lot of middling. It's led to a lot of... It's pretty good, but I mean, if I never see this movie again, it's absolutely fine.
True. I will say as well, would you rather watch Loki Season 1 again or watch this?
Oh, probably Loki Season 1.
Like, because it's a story and there's progression, there's a task, there's a goal. Whereas, I'm coming down on the side that I like this movie, but it is haphazard. It feels like 2 separate movies.
Yeah, like I think Gore the God Butcher. Let's get a bit more specific, okay? Christian Bale, Gore the God Butcher, is fucking amazing. Okay?
Fucking kills it.
Like he's only in about 3 scenes. Is my issue.
Secondly, we don't see a lot of God butchering.
No, he doesn't butcher any gods. He butchers
one when he first meets him in the first 5 minutes. Then after that, we just hear about how horrible of a person he is. Fucking show that.
We need to see him butchering everyone. They should have had a scene where there's like a god in... I mean, we're going to have to talk about Russell Crowe at some stage. But in that scene with all the gods, God Butcher should have turns up in the next scene with like one of the cocky gods that's there. It's like, he's never going to get us. My God.
You know what he should have done? Is that, there's a throwaway joke about how there's Bao and he's the god of dumplings. and he's a very cute character.
Kill it.
Gore should have fucking murdered that kid.
But our murder Korg's God, or like he should have just been mowing through them.
He should have been just eliminating gods left, right, and centre. I do like that Korg's God is sitting on a throne made of scissors.
That's a great joke.
That's a nice bit. I just like that. But the Jane Foster stuff in this, I love. I think that's really, really good. It's a super good adaptation of the Mighty Thor run of comics into the MCU. I like how they've done that.
I really liked her story in terms of like the Mighty Thor aspect. I have no interest in her and Thor as a romantic couple in any way. And like even since Thor 1, I just feel like they've two very pretty people that have no chemistry on screen. I'm like, you're both great actors, but I just wouldn't put you together.
No, and I think some of that might be that she was essentially written out after Thor the Dark World.
Yeah. And
she was done. And I think we were just like, okay, and now let's remove all investment in that character. So I think bringing her back as a new Thor is the best way to do her, because if you just brought her back as Dr. Jane Foster, accomplished scientist, she's still effectively the same character that we've already gotten over as an audience.
I think it would have been, like, it's absolutely fine to bring her back, have the exact same plotline, but they just settle things as friends. They don't have to be romantically involved.
I think I would have liked if they had parted ways and just been like well, they did. I suppose they did part ways.
I mean, they did.
But I would have liked if it was like, listen, we're both different, we both changed. At least we can end on good terms this time. Yeah, like you get closure from both sides. And then I think the emotional impact of the last scenes or whatever still hit the exact same way, with like them as just two people who they've kind of resolved all their differences that they never spoke about for the last 8 years. And now they're just fine with each other. Exactly, yeah. They've had a complicated relationship and now it's less complicated. And now you can miss each other in peace, kind of a thing. Yeah, and look, that's just a small thing for me, but personally I was watching it going, I just don't care about them getting back together romantically, but I was like all in on, I really think it's a cool idea. She's the mighty Thor, but then it's actually killing her at the same time. It's a great dichotomy between the two of them as a character. It's it's like the ultimate self-sacrifice. Also, like, big fan of Mjolnir breaking and then coming back together within fights. Great move. Perfect. So cool. Love that. Yeah. There's a lot of personality to Mjolnir and Stormbreaker in this. What do you think about that? I've heard people complain. It's very strange. It's a very strange dynamic, because I suppose, like, in Ragnarok, Thor gets over... Thor's connection with Mjolnir in Ragnarok seemed to be that he thought that was the source of his power, and that's why he liked Mjolnir so much. But then he realises he's not the god of hammers, he's the god of thunder. So he is like, I don't need Mjolnir to be successful. But in this, it's like Mjolnir is like a jilted ex who he never got. Mjolnir is Jane in this movie. But he talks to Mjolnir and he talks to Stormbreaker, and Stormbreaker has a personality in this movie that we've never seen before. Never built up. Never. To be honest with you, it's a joke that has been written in but has gone too far. Yeah, and where does it go from here now? Because Thor just has Mjolnir again, I guess. There is, and look, we love Taika. He's a pretty cool dude. Can I talk about Taika for a second? You can talk about Taika. I think we need to get on to Taika. I really like Taika. I think he's a very good vision. He has a very set style. But I don't want too much Taika. Not even in this movie, but just like I don't think just make Taika Waititi version of everything. I don't think that's the way to make things successful. I think that his form of like absurdism and comedy works really well. Ragnarok was a lovely surprise. I think that can get old quite quickly. Ragnarok is a great balance. And that doesn't kind of get a lot of credit, but why that movie works so well is because it is so balanced.
that it has those seeds of Taika Waititi and his ridiculous jokes. And I mean the story of Loki and the snake when he turns into a snake and then he stabbed me or whatever. Like that's perfect to have in the same in the same movie as the whole ending scene with like Ragnarok, basically Thor having to accept that he has to blow up his own planet to win.
Yeah. There are stakes, and Thor objectively loses a lot at the end.
I think maybe the reason why, for me, this doesn't work is because it had all the same Taika jokes in terms of, but there was never the stakes to back anything up. Like, I never felt any stakes whatsoever.
No, Valkyrie. I love Valkyrie as a character.
Is she in this movie?
She is in this movie, Connor.
Is she? All I seen her was get stabbed, fake die, and then kind of come back.
They did the fake out death. They did
it twice.
They Chewbacca'd us with fucking Korg. Like, Korg should be... If you want to make... I think you kill Korg, this is a much better movie. I'm still on the side that I like this, but I really... No, genuinely. Legitimately.
Yeah, but you can like a movie and then also say that there's things that they could have done better. Because I think you like the movie, but I think you could have loved this movie with some changes.
Genuinely. Like, I think if you kill Korg, like, that's... And you kill Korg at the point in the movie where they fake out the death. Because it's about an hour in. It's about halfway. And it's like, oh no, this is the stakes. Is that fan favourite Korg could die.
Yeah, I wanted Gore to kill Korg. But ultimately, if you're going to keep Korg alive, you got to kill Valkyrie. Then I think maybe they didn't want to kill either of them because they knew they were killing Jane at the end. And so they didn't want to have two deaths. But I'm thinking, early on in the movie, we got to set Gore up. Because we never see him. He's in the first 5 minutes. He's missing for an hour and 20. Then he pops back up at the end.
Gore kills nobody that we care about in this movie.
No, he should be killing everyone.
He should have killed Valkyrie. He should have killed, I don't know. Like, it's far too dark for a Marvel movie. But he should have killed Heimdall's kid. That's how you establish, oh no, this is a terrible dude. And don't just redeem him at the end either. Like,
no, I want him chopping body parts off Heimdall's kid, but like sending them back to fucking Asgard.
Lady Sif is in this movie, right? And fucking done dirty. So, because Jamie Alexander is a fucking phenomenal actress, and she keeps just being drafted in for these bit parts in these MCU projects, and I'm like, give her a fucking storyline.
Clearly Taika's like, I don't like any of those characters because he just killed all the rest of them.
He killed the Warriors 3 in a breath, but Jamie Alexander shows up at Lady Sif, and she's at the base of the big god who died.
That we didn't see.
What?
We didn't see die.
We didn't see die.
Like Gore was there. I bet it was a cool battle.
Yeah, no, that's a 1-to-1 shot from the comics. Is the big dog skeleton monster dead? But in the comics, Thor has this whole speech about how he was his friend. He was a god. He was a really nice god. He was only talking to him a couple 100 years ago. All this kind of thing. But it's one line in the movie. And it's just like, oh, he was the nicest god you'll ever meet. And then that's it. That's all you hear from him. But Lady Sif is on the ground missing an arm, right? And they make a joke about how she won't get into Valhalla because she didn't die in battle. Your arm might be in Valhalla. It's a whole thing. Like, we should have seen Gore, cut off that arm and, interrogate her about where to find Thor and how to get Thor. And she can just say, Asgard's gone. And that's how he knows Asgard is on Earth now.
I also think in that scene, I mean, you just have Korg relay that joke of you won't get into Valhalla because you didn't die. I think Thor should be like, oh shit, you're going to die, worried. And Korg can still be the comedy relief at that point. Like, he's just an idiot. And we understand if Korg is an idiot, that if in that scene he's like, well, you didn't die in the battle, so you probably won't get to Valhalla. And then Thor's like, shut up. This is one of my best friends. And
this is the only one I have left at this point.
All the rest of them died. I didn't really care then. I think There's 4 editors down for this. Obviously, Taika was probably on the editing job as well, so that would make 5. And so I think that kind of shows up in that there's 5 different people editing this movie. Or 4 of them anyway, with one person kind of ordering them around, but that's 4 different people. All cutting together different bits.
It's 4 different views deciding what the best bits are. And in a movie where, like, I'm fairly sure they were allowed to run quite free with lines and improv.
Yeah.
Like, that does change the tone of things quite drastically, especially if you're on one scene at half an hour into the movie, and fucking Jenny over there is in another scene an hour and 45 minutes into the movie. It does change the tone of it when you put all those individual scenes together.
And ironically, I was kind of thinking about this because in my cinema there wasn't as many laughs as I would have expected. And I think it's because, ironically, if there's more drama or there's more stakes, I think the laughter is louder. Whereas if you're going the Hot Shots route of just like joke, it's like less returns every single time.
It's exhale out of nose, and it's
exactly.
It's pause for applause moment.
And like, for example, one of the best jokes in the movie that got the laugh from me was one of the only times it was kind of serious was when Thor goes to visit the kids in the cage. And he's like, you're all in this together. Like, they're like, we're so scared. He's like, you're all in this together. Team kids in a cage. We're going to get through this. And I started laughing just the way he delivered the line. Because it's just a break the tension moment. But I think they kind of use that to just... They're using comedy to break the tension, but they never let the tension build in most scenes. So you're not actually breaking anything.
No, and like there's never a moment where... Up until, say, the back half of this movie, there's some tension. But up until then, it's just a little space romp.
And like, I'm okay with a space romp.
I love a space romp. On that subject, first 15 minutes or so where we're hanging out with the Guardians, that's quite like... That's fun and interesting. But it's also... It's nothing really as a story point.
It's kind of like McDonald's. Like, it was fine, but like I'd be hungry again in like half an hour.
Exactly. It felt like at the end of Endgame, Thor was...
Yeah, he'd set up all these character traits that we all knew, and then they were just all written out. Yeah,
it's like the Russos decided, we want to put him with the Guardians at the end, and then Taika was like, I don't like that, so let's just write him out. Now, I think the goodbye is good and all that kind of stuff.
And also he gets fit.
He does get fit. He gets back to, like, swole hench Thor.
Yeah.
Like myself.
But also, I mean, that's another one, though. Russo's wanted that. And I think Taika didn't want that. Yeah. So just leave it. But so in the first 10 minutes, he just wipes out all the things that were set up, and we're just going to get back onto a different story.
It's like realigning them. And it's like, and now here's the Thor story I want to tell. I did not think that the goats would get as much. I don't know what they're expecting with the goats in this movie, but they're so played for laughs, and it's just not funny at all the whole time.
You know what's? I've seen so much discourse about the goats, right, non-stop since I came out. I never thought about them once. I just literally, ever since people started complaining, I was like, I even forgot they were there. To be honest, It's
just a weird choice to me. It's a weird focus to put on the movie. I get that's for the younger crowd in the audience, you know.
Yeah.
It's which is fine, but it's a very it kind of stops the conversation dead whenever the goats are brought up.
So I mean, after you have the Voyager realization, he has to go through the moment where also not a big fan of him being like, I'm all about peace, and then like that's like the first 3 minutes, and then it's also but I'll destroy all those people.
Well, the logic is that he's not going to do anything until someone comes to him for help, and that's all he's about now. It's like he's not doing anything for himself. He's not doing anything.
Right.
He's just going to help people out when they need it, but he's not going to seek anything out. Is his whole thing.
Actually, we skipped over the opening with Gore and the kid. I think that's a really great way. To
that's solid.
It up.
But it's in a different movie.
Yeah. What I was thinking was, it's like they've taken... I'm trying to think of, like, give me a horror villain. Give me a killer.
Michael Myers.
Michael Myers. They've given me Michael Myers, but they've, like, put him in, like, Riverdale. It's like the villain is not in the right movie. This villain in a different movie would be amazing. Like, Christian Bale is so good, and he's like chewing scenery, and he's fucking freaky.
He's so strange. Like, he's unsettling to look at.
Yeah, and he's absolutely killing it, because of course it's Christian Bale, so he's going to just be weird and angry.
Yeah.
But like, in this movie, it makes no sense. I was like, this villain, though, if this movie was written in a completely different way, you could have had like the best MCU villain.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and there's a bit later on in the film where they go to the Shadow Realm. And
with the kids in the cage.
Kids in the cage. The whole film goes to black and white.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
That's an interesting choice to do for an MCU film. It's also a flex, because a lot of the criticism I saw in Ragnarok was like, oh, it's just colourful, that's why you like it. And it's just like, no, this is great in black and white, and it's genuinely unsettling.
And he's so unsettling when he like traps them all, and he's like talking to them, and he's just like, you can see all of his teeth, and there's like ooze dripping out of his mouth as he's talking, like he's clearly insane. And I'm like, this is fucking great. But the previous hour and 20, this was not the vibe.
No, we were having like orgy jokes not 25 minutes ago, you know.
Like, there was no stakes whatsoever, and now we just have a serial killer here.
Now we're just going to introduce one of the main, like one of the central cosmic entities in the Marvel universe. Just shows up in the same film where Russell Crowe suggests a big orgy. He feels out of place, and it's because he's so good that he feels out of place. It's like, if he was actually putting in a worse performance, I'd be like, okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, he kind of belongs here. But Gore doesn't joke in this movie. He doesn't, like, even, like, the closest he comes to a joke is where he's invisible in the cage full of kids. And he's just fucking with him. He
chops off the head off the thing as well.
Off the, like, eel thing.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh, but you celebrate when Thor chops off a head. How is that better? And it's like, it's a really tough thing to answer. And it's like, that's a really good scene of, like, here's a villain, here's his motives, here's where he's coming from. Sit with him for a while.
Yeah.
And he kills it.
And I do think that we needed like 5 more of those scenes. That was the only one we got before they like face him.
Yeah. No, we needed more of Gore being a god butcher.
Yeah, and we kind of said when we were watching the trailer, that scene with Russell Crowe as Zeus and all the gods there, I think Thor should leave that stadium and God Butcher Gore shows up and just mows through them.
Just unstoppable. Like, cannot be halted at all. Like, even the gods aren't enough for him at that point.
And like, he's looking for Thor. Get me Thor. I want Stormbreaker. Where's he gone? I heard he was here.
Yeah, because Stormbreaker is the key to get to eternity, which gives you a wish. And he wants to wish for the end of all gods.
There was people giving out or complaining that, like, why did they not go to eternity then just to wipe out the snap? But my response to that would be Stormbreaker didn't exist when that happened, and so nobody knew that you could actually use it to get to this place. Now, that is a very loose way, but it does kind of make sense.
That's true. My counter argument would be that it's the Bifrost. It's not technically Stormbreaker that opens it.
But Heimdall was dead, Sean. You know what I mean?
Heimdall was dead, but he wasn't dead for
Idris Elba was dead, though.
He was dead for some of it.
I'm trying to work out. He died in Ragnarok, didn't he?
He died before the snapping. Yeah.
See now. Perfect. There is my case.
But Heimdall had a kid.
And he's going to die. Fingers crossed.
Oh, well, make it a better film.
So we're going to have to talk about... we mentioned Jane, and of course, they did the Mighty Thor storyline. Pretty comic book accurate in terms that she has stage 4 cancer. She's going to die. And so she begins to look up just like Norse mythology. She figures out that people who can wield the hammer have great strength, stamina and all that stuff. And it just begins calling to her. And so then she goes to New Asgard and actually the hammer just comes to her.
Yeah, I like that they dug out the grass that the hammer was on because they couldn't pick it up. Yeah. I like that whole thing. And it's a nice way, because in the comics she goes to the moon to get the hammer, because that's where it's a whole thing. But it's a lot better. It's a lot more grounded, I suppose, this way. No, I like that adaptation. Like, by and large, Jane Foster is great in this movie. Like you said, the chemistry doesn't do it for me, but her as a character and her, like, I like how Valkyrie is like, no, she's good in a fight.
Oh, I also like those two being friends, but also we don't get enough of that at all.
We get like a couple of scenes, like there's a scene at the sink, and I think there's
that one scene, and I'm kind of like, I want to see those two on adventures. I think that could be fun.
Yeah, just like what they get up to.
I'd like to see Valkyrie do anything, maybe anything.
Like, I can't believe that Valkyrie is criminally underused in this movie. Like,
she's such a good character, and she's like the leader of Asgard. Just let her go and just like be a fighting machine. And especially when they start introducing the fact of like, oh, I missed the fight, I hate all that stuff, I'm like, she's definitely dead. Surely she's dead. She
and maybe she should have like died in battle.
Yeah, like, that's what she would have wanted.
Yeah, that's how she wants to go out. And then
I don't want to tell a fictional character what she wants and this wants, but or doesn't want. But I mean, if you were to write maybe a storyline, I would say she says, "I missed the battle." We send her to Gore the God Butcher. He slices her up.
Yeah, Thor and Jane now have a reason to team up. Jane, despite the stage 4 cancer, Thor goes and then Jane follows. Jane dies. Thor is left on his own. It feels like they want Thor to like be a leader, but also not be a leader.
Yeah, he's the jokester, but he's also the leader.
Yeah, because I listened back to our Endgame review not too long ago, and we talked about Thor's arc in these movies. Is that like up to Ragnarok, he thinks he's meant to be the this perfect leader of Asgard and this king and everything like that. And then he loses all of that. And then in Endgame, it's like, you don't need to be king. You just need to be yourself. You just need to be who you want to be. And then at the end of Endgame, he goes off and he's like, I'm just going to find myself. And he's Valkyrie in charge of Asgard. So he's like, that's not for me. That's not my life. And then in this movie, it's like he learns the same lesson over again, but now he has a kid at the end.
Oh, I forgot about the kid.
Yeah, Gore's kid that he just fucking looks after.
I suppose is a fine way to end it.
Do you know what it is? Is that they needed someone with Thor powers for a Young Avengers project in the future.
That, you know what, you've fucking... Yeah, that's exactly it. Because they're building up the Young Avengers. And, I mean, they went hard on, like, him being a dad and wanted, like, being surrounded by kids, but we never got any sense of that before any of this. It was just...
No, because all of that, like, all of that backstory with Thor and Jane, that takes place before, like, Infinity War and Ragnarok and all that stuff. And there's no mention of kids or fatherhood or anything like that.
Yeah, I forgot about love at the end. Love and thunder.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now he has a kid, and I suppose that's fine.
It's just it's cool. I get, like, it's, I don't know what it is.
The God Butcher.
It just feels like trying to set up a Thor sitcom where he's got these wacky powers and this kid has these wacky powers and they have to get along together.
And Doctor Strange had a bit of that as well, where, like, it seems like it's trying to set up a different movie. I'm like, just do this movie. You don't have to do it, like, set up a different one. It's fine. I want to talk about a scene that I don't know where you come down on it, but the scene with the gods, with Zeus and Russell Crowe. How did you feel about that scene?
It's odd. I don't know. It feels like it's simultaneously doesn't live up to its potential and also actively doesn't try to do anything.
I think it's trying to be weird, but maybe I was just not in the right headspace for that. I was like, when Russell Crowe started talking in that accent, I was like, okay, what is happening here? What is going on?
What? Yeah. I like this. I like how Thor is a fan of Zeus. Like,
I like that. I like that and Zeus is a dickhead. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, he's an actual prick. Like, I like all that stuff. like the whole because Zeus, if you've ever read mythology, Zeus is a bastard. Zeus is an absolute, I don't want to say the C word, but he is one of those.
But also, can I just say, the whole point of this movie is like Gore the God Butcher, like obviously he wants to kill the gods because the gods are bastards. Yeah. And then I think that scene is in there to be like, oh, he's right, like the gods are bastards because like, did you see them all? But then later on in the movie we're meant to dislike him. It's like, oh, he's the villain. But you've just kind of proven your own point of him doing the right thing, because in that whole scene they're just talking about orgies and Zeus the leader is just a dickhead. Yeah.
And Thor is just like, oh, but all these kids are kidnapped and he's going to kill them. Zeus is like, I don't give a shit.
Exactly. So why does Gore not just murder all of those people?
I have no idea. I have no goddamn idea. And like, if you wanted to make him more sympathetic, like I did a report on Gore the God Butcher for Hero or Zero. And like the comic origin of Gore is that it's very similar to the start of this film. But he's out in the desert and two gods crash to Earth fighting. And I think they get injured or one of them is hurt. And the god asks Gore for help. And Gore is like, how dare you? I've asked you for help my entire life and I've got nothing. So then you have the parallel of Thor going to Zeus, asking for help and getting nothing. And so Gore suddenly goes from this evil bad guy to someone's like, oh, maybe he has a point, which is the best kind of villain is one you can agree with.
Yes.
And then you realise, oh no, it's not about that. It's not about right or wrong. It's about, I don't know. It's about just being a good person. I
wanted a scene, and stop me where I'm wrong, right?
Go ahead.
Spider-Man 1, Tobey Maguire, okay?
Yeah.
At the wrestling place, right? Guy's like, you gotta tell me how that's my problem, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how that's my problem. Zeus says that to Thor. Then Thor, just before he leaves, Gore shows up, starts just butchering Zeus and everyone there. And he's like, Thor, help us. I don't know how that's my problem. You know what I mean? Then he just walks out.
Like, we see Thor and Gore kill the exact same amount of gods in this movie.
Thor kills Zeus.
Thor just lightning bolts Zeus in the face. Well, in the chest, I suppose.
I gotta be honest with you, I was with him up until I was like, yeah, he deserved that.
He kind of, yeah, but he's alive at the end. You stayed for the end credits, I assume.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Have you watched Ted Lasso?
I haven't.
Oh, well, the guy who plays Hercules, he plays a character in Ted Lasso called Roy Kent, who is objectively just Roy Keane.
Okay.
He's a very angry football player who's a little bit past his prime and wants everyone else to suffer. It's absolutely amazing. You'd love it.
And so, what are we saying here? Hercules obviously setting up the next movie with against Thor and his little child, Love.
I'm assuming so, unless they just write her out. Like,
she'll probably be written out in the first 10 minutes. You know what? I dislike the vibe of this review, okay? But the problem is, you can't really change how we feel. Because I love Taika. And I think Chris Hemsworth is, like, he's perfect as Thor.
Yeah, and he kills in this movie. He's having a great time.
I think everyone in the movie is putting in a great performance. Maybe other than Russell Crowe, who I think is actively bad. But I think like Hemsworth, Portman, like Tessa Thompson for what she's given, like she's perfect as Valkyrie, and of course Christian Bale is the absolute standout. But I just feel like in a different movie they could have done way better. It probably stands out more because I was expecting it to be better than it was.
Which I think we were led to believe. Like, it was always
because Ragnarok had the opposite. Whereas Ragnarok, because Thor: The Dark World had come out before that, I went in thinking it's Thor. Like, it's Thor. Like, it's not going to be that good. And I was like, this is the best fucking thing I've seen this year. And so then going into this, I'm like, last movie killed it. This is going to kill it. I can't wait. And when it was kind of going on, I was like, I'm not feeling this as much as I thought I would.
Yeah, I think the stuff that works very well. For me, anyway. Like, the what we get of Gore, what we get of Tessa Thompson. I like Thor as a character in this movie. I like Jane Foster in this movie. I like some of the cinematography choices, like the black and white scene, excellent. It's cheesy as fuck, but I love all the kids getting the power of Thor at the end. I think that's great.
We are on opposite ends of cheese.
The camera pans up, and it's the world tree. It's Yggdrasil from Norse mythology, spread out among the children.
But
also,
look, saying that though, would it not have been funny to watch them all get butchered? Like,
it would have been gas.
Like, I would have been all in. Like, he should have powered them all up, and then they all just get fucking sliced.
I love it. Somewhere in Gore's mental code, it's like, well, they're technically gods now, so...
And he's just kicking the shit out of a 3-year-old in their pyjamas.
That hall as well is just like there's a statue of the Living Tribunal there, which is really cool. There's one of the Celestials. A couple of Celestials we see just fucking looking into the God world.
Just hanging out.
Just hanging around. And also Eternity. Eternity exists. So Eternity is the personification of the universe, Connor.
Sorry, just before we got into Eternity, about the kids.
Yeah.
Why did Thor never use that power ever before? It would have been really useful.
I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know when he landed in Infinity War? With like all the monsters. What if he just looked at like Black Panther and Cap and Scarlet Witch or not Scarlet Witch, but like Black Widow, and just kind of fucking powered them all up, and then they all are Thor, and then there's like 16 of them.
Because they hadn't written that he could do that yet.
That's exactly it. Because they hadn't figured out that he could do it yet.
Because, well, I mean, like this, and that's something that comes up in this film, is that Thor accidentally gives Jane the powers of Thor because he tells Mjolnir to look after her, to keep her safe. And then he I guess he kind of figures out that he can do that, and is like, well, what if that didn't work in the moment? And he was just like,
that would have been even better. I give you all my powers, shadow monsters, just slicing them.
I think it's fun, and I like it. Also, that bit where they end up with all the water in the sky, that's literally a level from Kingdom Hearts, so I like that.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's intentional.
We can get back to Eternity. So,
yes.
So Eternity is introduced as the ultimate god that will grant one wish, and so Gore the God Butcher finally figures out, gets Stormbreaker, and is about to make his wish. And so the wish is, of course, that there will be no more gods. He just goes full evil at this point. That we're meant to just be completely against him. I'm kind of like, let's hear him out. So far, everything I've seen, it's not great.
Most of the gods we've met in this movie have been pricks. So
almost exclusively all of them, except for Thor and Jane.
And even Thor's not great. Like, he knocks down that whole temple at the start.
I would say Thor is more just like he's harmless, but
he means well.
He means well. He's just a bit of a doof, right? Yeah. But most of them are actively dickheads. And so I'm like, you know what, Gore, if you just make a wish, let's kill all the gods except for this lad. Wouldn't be that bad.
I think it would work out. I think it'll work out pretty well. And even the next film, it's going to be Hercules fighting Zeus, or fighting Thor.
Yeah.
And of course there's going to be casualties in that, like.
Yeah.
So we'd all be better off with a few dead gods.
So when he's about to make the wish, then of course Jane has been given the ultimatum that like she can either not power up, and she might have a chance to live with the chemo and all. Or if she powers up again, she probably would survive. She's probably going to die.
Yeah. Which is a tough choice. And she, like... Yeah, and that's the same in the comics. Like, the power of Thor basically stops the chemo from working.
And I like the scene where Thor's like, I don't want you to do it. And I was kind of like... I wasn't big on him, like, just telling her... But then they kind of save it in the writing where he kind of says, obviously it's up to you. But personally, I would prefer if you didn't power up.
He literally says, like, oh, I can't stop you from doing this.
Yeah.
But I have to at least say this to you.
I think that was the perfect way to save it. Because up until that point, he was like, you're not powered up. And I was like, this is a bad vibe. I don't know if you're allowed to just tell her that.
No. It's like, it's well done, that whole thing. And... That's a genuine bit of, like, you feel a bit of, like, connection between these two characters.
Yeah, like, he'll regret it if he doesn't say it, or if he doesn't at least try.
Because they're talking about how much they care about each other without just outright saying, "Oh, I love you," and kissing, like, which is every other kind of interaction. So that's nice to see, and I like that Jane at the end decides she's going to do it, that she's going to like power up one more time, basically.
But he also wouldn't have beaten Gore without her.
No, he would have been fucking dead on a slab.
All those kids were shit, like absolutely terrible.
Kids did nothing. The shadow monsters as well, dude. Do you know the 7 deadly sins in Shazam?
Yeah.
It's the same in that I can't remember any of them.
Yeah, see, I don't like shadow monsters. Shadow monsters, so from this, you have Shazam. I wouldn't even put in ooze monsters from Suicide Squad, from the first one. Like,
weird
just
black goop, like...
completely forgettable, just mercenaries you have to kind of mow through before you get to the big man.
Because the sword in the comics, and I don't like being this guy, but the sword in the comics is connected to the symbiotes, like Venom and all that. So that's why you can conjure like these black tendrils and creatures and all that kind of stuff.
I don't think they were doing that though.
They just lock into Shadow on this movie.
Very hard to make Shadow intimidating.
It really is. It really is. You need a lot of light for Shadow.
You need a lot of lights for Shadow. So I think that end scene is okay. And like, so at the end when you have like Jane dying, and then it's like, you don't have to make the wish to kill all the gods. You could easily just make the wish to bring back your own daughter.
Yeah.
I like that as a result, like a resolution. It makes sense. That's exactly what you would pitch to the guy about to kill you and everyone you know.
It's a real Hail Mary kind of thing, isn't it? So, hey, what you could do.
What if I give you 2 steaks instead of these ribs?
Well, this is it. Is that like it goes back to the Thanos thing of like, why didn't Thanos just double all the resources?
Because they didn't write it like that, okay? Just
that's the thing. But it's like in the villain's mind, that's not an option. You know, it has to be. There has to be sacrifice. You know, but like Gore could literally just wish for everything to be okay.
Yeah, Gore could have. Gore could have been like, I wish that my daughter comes back and everything's perfectly fine and me and her live forever together.
And it turns he's just like, no ands.
There is an and. It was a comma.
I like how I don't know. I do like this. I like that Thor is like, no, I'll look after the kid. Yeah. That's a heroic thing to do.
Because Gore dies?
Gore dies. Gore does die.
Why does he die?
Because he's because Connor.
Okay, here we go. You want to explain
this. When the sword chooses you, it slowly poisons you.
Ah, yes. Okay. Yeah. And it chose that exact moment to poison him.
Yes, and just right then and there. I do like him and Jane have a conversation, and he's like, we're the same. We're both being killed by the thing that gives us power. That's nice. That's in that black and white bit that I love so much.
I really like that bit, but I think it was not explored enough. That like the two of them, it should have been toward the middle, and the two of them basically just opposite ends of the same spectrum.
Literally, yeah. That like they're both doing the same thing essentially. Also, I want to pitch you this, just a scene of Gore going mental, talking to the sword. Wouldn't that be cool?
Would have been good. I just wanted more Christian Bale just chewing scenery. Let's just see what he does.
He's not in it very much.
No. I think the best scene probably in the whole movie is the black and white scene on the Gore's planet. Just as you said, for artistic reasons, they turn up, and that has weird shadow monsters as well. But before all that, before the fight scene, I would say is what really makes this stand out is when he it's like a horror movie where they're just like kind of going through the little house or little hut, and then you're like, oh shit, it's a trap, and he just pops out, just immediately takes all 3 of them, like 3 gods, in seconds.
It just shuts them down, and Jane realises like, oh, he wants Stormbreakers. She throws that into space. Yeah, and then there's that whole thing of like, call the hammer. And it's just like, if you don't call this hammer, I'm going to kill both of your friends.
Yeah. And I just think, and he's absolutely, as you said, like, he's doing such a good performance there. And that's probably why that scene stands out, is because that actually has stakes. Like, that's the first time in the whole movie up until that point I was like, oh shit, this is good. This is like, there's no jokey jokes for 5 seconds. We've got some stakes.
Yeah, it's an actual serious moment of downtime in this film.
Of course, I'm going to kill them if you don't call the hammer.
like, and also before that, there's like a whole bit on the boat where Thor and Jane talk about how they love each other.
I was moving past that. You know how I feel about it, the chemistry.
Korg is a face at the time. Like,
there's a lot of things I'm overlooking here, just to kind of be nice. There's a lot of scenes that I'm like, I wouldn't have done it like that, but that's okay. That's cool.
Look, I think it's a worthy watch just for the black and white scene myself. I think that's great.
Yeah. If you just cut the gore, the God Butcher scenes into this, like out of it, and then just watch them,
I think so. Yeah, like
a good movie.
I think it would have been nice to see after Ragnarok and the jokey, funny Thor. Like maybe give me that for the first 30 minutes or 45 minutes.
Yeah, and then something has to happen.
Korg dies.
Yeah,
and then it turns, and then it's like, okay, this is a serious movie now.
Like, you have the same... we're kind of also rewriting it as we're doing this episode. I feel like we're definitely not anyways talented as any of these people.
At all.
But we're just kind of spitballing here, just throwing ideas. So, like, to me, you have, as you said, first 30, 40 minutes, have the same jokey stuff. You can even the Guardians, all that scene. It doesn't matter. But gore has got to show up with... Thor and Korg go to a planet. We're going to go fight Gore. There's this guy that's causing hassle. They show up. He kills Korg, like, straight away.
Murders him.
Yeah, he murders him. And, like, so Thor goes back to Asgard, like, Korg's dead. Holy shit, what the fuck are we going to do, Valkyrie? And she's like, I've got backup. So there's mighty Thor is there. And so they're like, right, the three of us are going to have to go.
Yeah, and like Thor comes back and he's like, Korg is dead, and he's on a warpath. Then Valkyrie has to be the leader, the king of Asgard, and be like, calm down, let's make a plan.
Yeah.
Valkyrie sets the whole plan in motion, gets Jane in.
You have the mighty Thor in there as well, so you have the three of them, and like Thor is just hell-bent on revenge. The two of them are just like, chill, okay, this is what he wants. He wants you to run in head first when you need backup.
He wants you to go just throw Stormbreaker at him, and he catches it.
And Valkyrie dies in that battle, brings the two, then Thor like snaps back. He's like, fuck, this is life and death. Like, everyone I know is going to die if I don't fucking like pull this out.
Yeah, and he wins, but Jane still dies.
Yeah, because Thor is always best when he's sad, but he's also holding it together. That's like my favourite version of this character. Yeah,
and then maybe then you put him in Asgard, even with the kid, but now he's like, no, I'm just going to do this.
Like, I think most people's, one of their strongest scenes of this version of Thor is the scene, I think it's Infinity War, when he's on the ship with Rocket Raccoon and Groot, and he's just like, well, then my mom died, and then my dad died, and then my brother died, and then basically everyone I know has actually died in the past few years. It's been a pretty rough time.
Yeah, because the line that he gives is like, well, he's never fought me. He did, and he won. Well, he's never fought me twice. And if he wins again, well, what else do I have to lose?
And like, Chris Hemsworth delivers that line, like, he has tears in his eyes, but he's like holding it back, and he's trying to be jokey Thor as he does it. And I think that's when the character's work at his best, is when like he's got so much sadness, but we love him because he's just constantly trying to be positive. When he's just like, shit's going to fucking shit around me, like everything's fucked, but I just got to keep moving forward.
Yeah, and like it's I don't know, I don't want Thor to just like lose everyone in his life.
No, I don't.
But I think for this story, I think it would have worked better if Thor had to take responsibility, you know,
for not taking the threat seriously. I think someone needed to die to take the threat seriously, because he can have the jokey stuff, but someone needs to get fucking butchered by Gore.
Because I feel, and like, I keep going back to Korg because he's just like endemic of this concept of just like, Thor and Korg are going to be okay at the end of this because they get the clips on YouTube. And people like them, you know? Yeah, the fake out deaths really annoyed me. I really don't like that.
How many times have they done that so far in Phase 4? Like, you had Tobey Maguire as well, Spider-Man.
Yeah. You had Korg in this movie. Yeah. What else is in Phase 4?
Well, Doctor Strange. The Eternals.
The Eternals probably have...
Eternals had a fake out. What's her name? The little girl stabbed her.
Macari?
Yeah. There was a stabbing there. You're like,
there was a stabbing,
yeah.
You're right. And then, I'm trying to think, what else came out? Like, there was, I suppose, there was a bit of a fake out death in Black Widow, because a helicopter exploded around Florence Pugh. And she was just fine after it.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, just kill people. It's fine. But also, maybe just don't write the scene that they get stabbed if you don't want to actually kill them.
Yeah. Like, don't make me, like, serve those emotions and then just be like, it didn't matter.
It's fine.
Chewbacca should have died when that ship exploded, man. That would have been great.
I just think my favourite non-death scene is in Suicide Squad. I bring it up again, other than the Ooze Monsters, is 3 times in that movie they land a helicopter by crashing it and then they walk away.
I mean they're the Suicide Squad, Connor. What do you expect?
We're going to go down. Are we going to land it? Well, no, we'll just wait for a rocket to hit us and then we'll hit the floor. We'll run out.
Deadshot, the man who can't miss. Fire a shot at Harley Quinn there.
Shaun, so I feel like we've kind of gone over most of the big points. There's probably some small things that we haven't really got over, but is there anything else that kind of stands out to you in terms of the film itself?
Not really. Like, I feel like it's got highs and lows. I think the highs are more than enough to carry it. It's not my favourite MCU movie by any means. I like the end credits where Jane goes to Valhalla. And it's like, cancer's a battle, so you did it.
That's nice.
And Idris Elba wears a terrible wig in that scene. But
it's Philip and James Bond. Give him a break.
I can't look. That's fair enough. I'm happy I saw it. I'm glad I saw it. I probably won't watch it again anytime soon.
I think it's a missed opportunity more than anything.
I think it could have been a lot more.
I think you could have absolutely had an all-timer here. And I think that's probably where a lot of the disappointment's coming from. That like you had it all set up for an all-timer and you kind of just like, it's good, like, but we could have scored 20 touchdowns, but we scored 3. Like, yeah, okay, that's pretty good, I suppose.
Yeah, and I think you're right that it is like watching the Super Bowl and then going back to like game 1 of the new season.
Yeah,
it's just like, I know what you can be though.
Yeah, I would say, where would you rank this actually in terms of Thor movies? So, I mean, Ragnarok is first.
Yeah.
Is it better than Thor 1?
I think it is.
I think so too, yeah.
Just because there's more in it. But I think it goes Ragnarok this, Thor 1, Thor 2, which I feel is a fairly by the numbers list, quite honestly. But it's probably, like, it's not above, it's not close to Ragnarok, if that makes sense.
No, it's like it's Ragnarok, a big gulp. Big gap, and then the other 3. In terms of Phase 4, what's left? I'm trying to think of what's left.
Let me quickly look it up, because we've got a bit of time left.
Ant-Man, is Quantumania coming out?
Quantumania is Phase 4. That's something I'm genuinely excited
that could have ramifications, but at the minute, I mean, with the goal, like, they've had Eternals. Spider-Man was obviously an outlier because that just had the setup of the multiverse and all. Doctor Strange, okay.
So, Black Widow, Shang-Chi. So, Shang-Chi is pretty good. Eternals, Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Thor Love and Thunder. It's like there's quite a bit left. So, we have Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Okay.
We have Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania.
Okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. The Marvels. Fantastic Four. And Blade.
Right, okay.
Those are just the movies.
But there's no big thing they're building towards. There's not even like a civil war, I think, which is going to hinder... You're going to have just storyline after storyline, but... They don't normally do that. They normally then set up a story somewhere, like Hercules in this. Like, it has to have a setup to something else.
That's, and like War of the Gods or something like that.
Yeah.
But I feel your best bet to set up I think this is just going to be setting up Phase 5 is going to be the objective goal of this, and I think that's going to happen mostly in Fantastic Four.
Yeah. Are you excited?
I've been thinking about this, Shaun. I will always like these movies.
Yeah, I think so too.
I like what they're about. Like, from someone who, like, when I was growing up, I did not know anyone who read comics. So I'm just happy that they're the biggest thing in the world now.
I think it's fucking amazing that they've gotten to 2022 without absolutely blowing it up. Like,
yeah.
In the fact, because I remember, like, in 2013, 2014, when, like, it started, like, the MCU was still pretty strong, and people were like, don't know how many more years they have left.
Boys, yeah.
Yeah, the fatigues would have set in. So to get to 2022, and, like, they're still churning these fucking things out, they're still making nearly $1 billion every time. Pre-pandemic, they made $1 billion for every single film, leading up to Endgame. So
and then I think it's like it is going to get back to that. I do think.
Yeah, I think, but yeah, they're currently like the all-star team without a goal. Like they don't have a goal in mind. There's no championship to play for. Like they're just kind of sitting there. They're just
doing their
movies.
weekly games, and they're doing really well in them.
They're just doing the movies for the sake of doing the movies. That's fine. But I think when everybody's got like something in mind, like that there's an end goal here. We want to set up this to do this. It makes everyone better because you're more focused.
Yeah, like, and I think it's just it's Phase 4. The whole thing has gotten a lot bigger because it's not just movies anymore; it's TV shows, and there's so many different productions happening all at the same time that it isn't reasonable for everything to link with everything else. There'll be seeds planted here and there, and then those will all connect at the end of everything. But I think we're gone beyond the days of where, you know, you can freeze frame during Captain America Civil War and you can see plans for Wakanda and all this. I think we're beyond all of that now.
Yeah, I think everyone's either in it or not.
Yeah,
at this point.
Think of it like buying a comic and you buy the one you like, and there are other ones there if you want it, and maybe there'll be a big Civil War event at some point. But just buy or watch the ones you like, and you'll have a pretty good time with it.
Can't wait for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It's
Very
the last
excited
one.
about that. I liked seeing the Guardians in this film. It was a nice little treat.
But I think that's it for this movie review shot of Thor: Love and Thunder.
What a week of reviews, Connor. Would you like me to take us out?
Yes, please.
Thanks, everyone, for listening to this episode of Movie Mondays.
Actually, we never gave a Weetabix rating review, but I don't know what
forgive me. I would give just 2 Weetabix, bit of honey and milk, and a glass of ale on the side, because Vikings.
Oh, good.
And alcoholism.
I'm trying to think of... there's 2 Weetabix, but just before I'm about to eat into it, someone swallowed them. So it was a bit of a missed opportunity for... I thought I was getting more.
Oh, very good.
It was only a little bit.
That's fair. That's very fair. So, thanks to everyone who supports us over on Patreon. Patreon.com/Heroes for Hire podcast. Link to that in the description. Shoutouts, of course, go to Waffles, the marvellous god of thunder and syrup, Ciara Lawler, David Clarke, Ed Ball, Joe Burney, Róisín the wife Palmer, Ryan technically fine Evanson, Shaun Chuck it in the wash and it'll be grand Jamieson, Dominic, Jessiah Florida Gal Green, Anna Hjelmroos, Lil Dicky, Come Stay Where the Dog Men Play McGrew, Danny McLaughlin, Ray, The Fabulous Frogman, Sam, Michelle Browne, Michaela Doughty, Sackman41, Frost and Buster. Thank you all so much for the continued support. We hope you enjoyed the review. We hope you enjoy the reviews that we put up on our Patreon page. Miss Marvel review of the finale, I think that'll be coming soon because that's out on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's out this Wednesday, yeah.
So look forward to that, and we hope you enjoyed this review as well. Let us know your thoughts on Thor, Love and Thunder. Other ways to support the show, we do have the merch store link below, heroesforhire.ie/shop. Twitter is at Heroes for Hire Pod, the 4 is the number 4. Facebook is Detective Divilment's discussion group. Instagram is Heroes for Hire Podcast, and the best way to ever help out the show is to tell one human being that we exist.
Just the one, please.
I think that's about it, Connor.
I think so. So I've been Ciara Lawler.
I've been Shaun.
I shall see you all next week, guys.
Bye.